we really need to get in and have a discussion about the games as a service model that so many developers are continuously trying to push. There are so many developers at this point who seem like they want to push for this business model more and more. And as a gamer, as a person who enjoys this this medium of entertainment, I could not be more disgusted by this business practice. More and more companies are thinking that it is a good idea to release games unfinished, patch them later through updates, kind of listen to fan feedback. They're almost being treated like betas, each and every single game. Games like Final Fantasy 15, The Division, The Destiny 2. A lot of times when your online shooters will come out anymore, they have this games as a service business model. They continuously go in and add daily quests and things like that to make you stick and play their games. Dreamcast Guy made an excellent video talking about this very subject, and I'm going to leave it there. But the one thing that baffled me the most what he said is how people started telling him he was being too harsh on Metal Gear Survive. Because you can't expect a game to be released complete anymore. And why the hell not? This is what we saw with EA and BioWare with Mass Effect Andromeda last year. That game released broken. And before anybody goes, well, it was just the graphics, it wasn't that big of a deal. The fact that so many people boycotted that game because of the amount of glitches, because of the facial animations looking like garbage, because of the amount of problems that this game had, it became a laughing stock. And somehow companies are thinking that this is an okay business model. This is becoming such a trend anymore that it is borderline infuriating. It's embarrassing that so many developers have this mentality. Release the game unfinished, release the game broken. We'll let the fans say, oh, it's still a good game, we love it, and then patch it and get more people to continuously come back. Games as a service is destroying video games. We have games like Final Fantasy 15, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse on this channel, but I'm going to be vocal because it's my favorite franchise. It's a franchise that I hold on top tier quality. My love for that game diminishes more and more every day the more and more Square Enix announce shit that they are going to do. There are so many games that are broken. I take a look at some of the year's greatest games released last year. Nier Automata, Persona 5, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Odyssey, frickin' Horizon Zero Dawn. And I know I've talked about this a lot before as well, but it continuously gets... There's a reason those games feel so damn great. They're complete. They weren't rushed. There was love dropped into each and every single ounce of one of those games. To me, those are exemplary accounts of games that are made right. They are games that developers need to take a look at in the modern age and say, this is how we make a game. This is how we treat our fan base. This is how we treat our consumers. Release a game at launch that's up to par, up to quality, doesn't have a shit ton of stuff just cut out of it to turn around and sell later as DLC to continually keep people coming back, to continually keep people playing our games. It's getting to the point it's so frustrating to see so many games do this that each and every single game is almost starting to feel like an MMO in this aspect. We don't want you to play another game. We want you to strictly play ours. It's becoming a contest to see who can keep the player engagement in a certain franchise the longest. And if this trend just keeps going, this is just something that I'm going to eventually go, you know what, I'm done with this practice, and I'm just going to start boycotting a lot more games. At this rate, the amount of companies that are continuously pushing for this model, I'm going to be saving a hell of a lot of money. I'm going to be having more fun playing games that are released finished. And there are some games I get that do this. Overwatch, Fortnite. We have games like MMOs that continuously go through and add updates to keep their player engagement. Those we expect. Those are built around that business model. But single-player games should remain just that, single-player. You shouldn't have to go in and incorporate all these shady business models to keep your player engagement going. One of the games this year I'm looking forward to playing the most is Kingdom Hearts 3. And so help me, if Kingdom Hearts 3 feels like it's chopped up to follow the same business model as Final Fantasy 15, I will get on this channel and I will rip that game to shreds. I will be its most over-the-top critic if it comes down to that business model. And I feel like more and more developers are pushing this because they're trying to capitalize off of the naive nature of the generation of gamers growing up. I think they're trying to push that, the young generation, this is just the way games are going to be. Just handle it and deal with it. Don't listen to people who have been playing games for 20, 30 years. They don't know what they're talking about. This is the way that it's going to be. I think they're living off of that mentality that the generation growing up now isn't going to care. That the generation growing up now, if we push this down their throats and target these games towards them now, that we can continue this model in the end. This is going to single-handedly destroy the video game industry. I don't think we're ever going to have a resurgence of the deal with what happened with Atari before Nintendo came along and Sega and kind of revitalized the home gaming console market. I don't ever think we're going to hit a crash like that. But I think we're going to have such a decline in quality video games, such a decline in games as a general, that gaming is going to fall apart and not nearly be as much fun. And something that I've invested my time into, something that I'm passionate about, I mean, if you can tell by just looking at my shelf back there, I think I well enjoy the single-player video game experience. I think I well enjoy being able to play a game, beat it, and move on to another one. No longer is that the business model. No longer is that the way that developers are making their games. It's not about making a sequel anymore. It's about monetizing the game over long enough to continuously keep people coming back to buy these DLC updates, to buy these cosmetic items, to buy these loot boxes, to buy these microtransactions. And that's why developers are getting so predatory with the way that they're incorporating these games, because they're about monetizing the game rather than making great quality. We're lucky anymore if we get a brand new mainline Final Fantasy game every couple every decade. It used to be Square Enix. Final Fantasy VII, bam. Year later, Final Fantasy VIII, bam. Year later, Final Fantasy IX. A bunch of other RPGs there in the middle. Now Square Enix can just sporadically put their releases out by each. You have other companies who continuously go through and add these business models to each and every single different one of these games and continually update it. There was someone talking about Rainbow Six Siege. I think it was Dreamcast guy talking about how there's really no reason for them to even go in and make a sequel to that game because the player engagement's so high that they're just continually doing updates. There's no reason to go in and improve. Maybe take what fan feedback has said and try to construct a bigger, better, more enjoyable game for these people to go in and play. And it is frustrating to see the video game market go in such a sad state. I don't know where these video game publishers get off that this is a great idea, but it needs to stop. This is a business practice that needs to end. This is frustrating It is insulting to gamers, it's insulting to your fan base, it's insulting to put them in long-running franchises that have continuously built a fan base over the years. Essentially what you are doing is you're giving all of your fans who have stuck with you for as long as they have the bird and saying, F you. We don't care about you, we only care about the money that you're getting. All I've got to say, if you're a game developer, you come across this video, indie, big name studio, whatever you may be, I hope this makes you stop and think who you're screwing over in the long run. You can only do this so much before more and more people like me, before more and more people like the average consumer go out and start ripping your products to shreds. Reminiscing in the old days, you know, these guys used to be the top tier quality developers, and now they're not. You can only expect people to go in and defend this practice for so long before it becomes a mess. Before your games start to drop in profit because people are tired of games being unreleased. There are great ways to go about and do a games as a service model. But the way a lot of these games are going about it are completely wrong. You need to be able to make your player feel like that they're engaged. They're getting something worthwhile sticking with your game. But I also don't want to see every single game release turn into a strictly games as a service model because, like I said, I like to move on to the next game. I am a gamer. I don't like to stick to one game. And if you're making your game solely based on that model to continuously get me to play the game, then I'm just probably going to move on from it. I'm not going to stick with one single game over the course of 3, 4, 5, however the frick long you guys decide to keep your games up. So, as a gamer at this point, yes, I'm livid. I am utterly disgusted by this practice. And more developers that go about and do it, I will rip them to shreds. I am scared to death about Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing in that state. Square Enix has really pushed for this. I guess we should have seen signs of this when they decided that they were going to make Final Fantasy 13-2. I mean, that's kind of essentially what that was a pay-to-win service where they released episodic, and that's what it was, episodic content to tell off the story and try to improve things what they want. That was kind of the start of what they've done with Final Fantasy. But leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. There are video game topics I do want to cover, happy stuff on this channel. It's been a pretty damn dreary week on this channel for rants and videos, but we need to have these discussions. We need to continuously push towards these developers that we're not going to take this shit. We're not going to stand for this shit. And, yeah. Let your voice be heard. Let these developers know you are not going to tolerate it. And give your feedback to them. And do this. Don't buy their games. Look for exemplimentary titles that go above and beyond to give player satisfaction. These are the companies we need to invest our time into. These are the companies we need to make, well, gee, wonder why their games sold so well. That's the message we need to send to these developers. Because until we start hitting them where it hurts, which is their wallets, they are not going to stop. Leave your comments down below, guys. Hit subscribe there for me to keep up to date with all of my content. Check out my latest video. Please like, share, and comment on this video. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are going to be down below in that description box, along with all of my other social media links. You guys have been watching the Spoony Bard, and most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoony Bard is checking out.